What's up YouTube, Zero here, and today I have an EPIC Leafeon plus Darkrai plus Yanmega all EXs deck build in Pokemon TCG Pocket. In this video, I'll go over each of the cards you need for this deck build. I'll talk about some of the cards individually, and I'll also talk about why each of these cards mesh really well together and why this deck is absolutely phenomenal. Before I get into it, I do want to say if you do enjoy this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more Pokemon TCG Pocket content. I do a bunch of other video games, so feel free to check those out as well. Thank you so much in advance for doing so. It does really help out me and my channel. Without further ado, let's talk about this deck. I honestly can see this deck as being a replacement in the meta for the Darkrai Weevil decks, or some variations. Some decks may leave out Yanma and Yanmega and substitute other Pokemon or other support cards in there, but I can absolutely see the Leafeon EX plus Darkrai EX becoming some form of meta because this combination is just fantastic. First, let's talk about the Pokemon in this deck. Of course, Leafeon EX and Eevee times 2, Darkrai EX times 2, Yanma times 2, and Yanmega EX times 2. Let's talk about why these Pokemon really gel well with each other. First, Leafeon has an ability, Forest Breath. And what Forest Breath does is if Leafeon is in the active slot, once per turn, you can take one leaf energy from the energy zone and attach it to one of your grass Pokemon. So that's absolutely awesome. You can take that leaf energy and attach it on Leafeon. So this deck is going to be a dark type energy deck. So you just have to put dark type energy in your energy zone. Leafeon is going to build up its own leaf energy, and it only requires one for Solar Beam, its attack. So you really only need one leaf energy to power up that move. But outside of that, it's also going to be great, Leafeon in the active slot with Forest Breath, because you can power up Yanmega on the bench as well. So two things that really work well with Leafeon, especially in the active slot, which is why I'd recommend if you utilize this deck, get Leafeon in that active slot as quickly as possible. One, you can utilize Forest Breath right away to get that leaf energy onto Leafeon. Two, while Leafeon is in that active slot, you can start building up the energy on Yanmega EX. Yanmega EX is absolutely fantastic as a late game sweeper, especially if it has a couple of extra leaf energy on it, or any energy in general. As you can see on the deck build on the left-hand side of the screen, Yanmega EX with Air Slash is just 3 colorless energy. So you can put dark energy on Yanmega EX, or you can put leaf energy on Yanmega EX. But with Leafeon in that active slot, after Leafeon has its 3 energy, only takes 2 turns to build that up, because you can attach an energy from the energy zone to Leafeon. You can then utilize Forest Breath, and then the next turn you can either utilize Forest Breath, which I do recommend, or you can attach a dark energy from that energy zone and start doing damage with Solar Beam for Leafeon. In a perfect world, you're able to set up Leafeon, Darkrai, and Yanmega really quickly, or at least have a Yanma on the bench so you can start building up that energy on it. So Leafeon in the top slot, you're utilizing Forest Breath, stashing those leaf energies onto your Yanma or Yanmega. You're attaching that dark energy onto Darkrai, and let's talk about Darkrai and its active ability, Nightmare Aura. Every time you attach a dark energy to Darkrai, it deals 20 damage to the opponent's active Pokemon. So every turn you're able to attach that dark energy onto Darkrai, you're dealing 20 additional damage. So this combination is absolutely fantastic. You have Leafeon, who's in the active slot already set up with its 3 energy, so you don't need to worry about attaching any more Leaf energy to Leafeon. So start attaching that Leaf energy to Yanmega. What this is going to do is it's going to allow Yanmega to have the 3 or more energy to be the late game sweeper. Hopefully, in a perfect world, you get 4 or 5 Leaf energy onto Yanmega, because every time you utilize Air Slash, you have to discard in a random energy. So hopefully you do have a little bit of buildup. You have Darkrai on the bench, and you're attaching the dark energy to him, doing 20 damage to the opponent's active Pokemon. And then you have Leafeon, not just building up that energy on Yanmega, but also dealing damage via Solar Beam, which is 70 damage for 3 energy. So not necessarily the best, but because it only takes 2 turns to build up that energy thanks to Forest Breath, it is decent. 2 turns for 70 damage isn't too bad. So now that we've talked about the Pokemon and how they mesh well together, again, Leafeon is going to be your starting Pokemon, the one you're hopefully going to get in that active slot as soon as possible. You're going to utilize Forest Breath to build up energy on Yanmega, while the dark energy is building up on Darkrai, dealing 20 damage to the opponent's active Pokemon. So now we're building up all of this energy. We have Yanmega EX ready as our late game sweeper to do Air Slash 120 damage. We have Darkrai just building up dark energy, doing 20 damage every turn to that active Pokemon in your opponent's slot while it's building up dark energy. And then you have Leafeon there to build up the energy on Yanmega and also deal 70 for Solar Beam. So that's absolutely awesome. Now let's talk about the support cast of this deck. Erica is almost a must for any grass type deck. It's going to heal any grass type Pokemon for 50 HP. That's absolutely awesome. It's going to increase the survivability of both Leafeon and Yanmega. So I love Erica in this deck. Leafeon isn't dealing a ton of damage. Really, it's there. It's dealing 70 damage to your opponent's Pokemon, which isn't awful. But the reason why Leafeon's there is to start building up that energy on Yanmega so it can be that late game sweeper. So while Leafeon's dealing some damage, hopefully getting Leafeon out quick to maybe eat through your opponent before they can play any of their stronger cards. But if you can't, Yanmega is going to be there. So get Leafeon out quick, utilizing Erica to heal Leafeon up so it can stay in that active slot longer, building up that energy on Yanmega. Pokeball and Professor's Research are great choices for this deck. It's going to help you get to all of your cards quicker. Pokeball, you're going to want to draw out whichever Pokemon you need. Of course, Pokeball is going to draw out a basic Pokemon. So whichever Pokemon you need, maybe you need a Darkrai. Hopefully you're going to get that Darkrai with the Pokeball. Or maybe you need an Eevee. Hopefully you're going to get that Eevee with the Pokeball. But it can help you get to those basic Pokemon quicker. Professor's Research just going to help you get through your deck quicker so you can start implementing your strategy. Cyrus is extremely important. Cyrus pulls out an injured Pokemon from the opponent's bench into the active slot. So if an opponent is trying to hide a weakened Pokemon on the bench, it's not going to be able to. I love Cyrus. Cyrus is in pretty much every one of my decks at this point. Then on to a couple of tools. And these tools are very useful and can be situation dependent. I would recommend paying attention to how your game's going and how you want to attach these tools, but both have their place. You can see that each of these EX Pokemon all have a max of 140 HP. Well, there are some Pokemon that deal 140 damage with a Giovanni. There are some that just deal 140 damage outright. So utilizing Giant Cape is going to at least allow each of these Pokemon, if they are in the active slot, to potentially avoid a one-hit KO. Of course, there are also a lot of Pokemon, strong Pokemon, that deal 150 damage. So again, getting the Giant Cape, which adds an additional 20 HP to your Pokemon, is going to allow them to go up to 160, avoiding a 140 massive hit or a 150 massive hit, so you can avoid that one hit KO. Rocky Helm is nice because it's going to deal extra damage. Again, whether you want to play Giant Cape on your active Pokemon or Rocky Helm on your active Pokemon, it is really situation dependent. If your opponent is going to be hitting you pretty quickly, then I'd recommend Rocky Helm. If you're afraid of being one hit KO by a strong Pokemon, then I recommend Giant Cape. But it really depends on the match, so just see how your match is going and play it by ear. Of course, Yanma, you can see on the screen, only has 50 HP, so sometimes it's nice to put the Giant Cape to give Yanma a little bit more survivability because it does not like taking too many hits. So you can, if your Yanma is in that active slot, increase the survivability a little bit of your Yanma. So that is the deck. I absolutely love this deck. Let's recap again. Leafeon is best in that active slot. So you want to get Leafeon to the active slot as quickly as possible. Utilize Forest Breath first to set up Leafeon itself so you can utilize Solar Beam as quickly as possible. After doing that, start setting up hopefully your Yanma or Yanmega that's on your bench. Hopefully you were able to draw it via just the start, a normal draw, Pokeball, or Professor's Research. Start building up that leaf energy on your Yanma or Yanmega. Hopefully you were also able to draw out your Darkrai. This is where the energy being dark energy is going to be important, so you can equip that dark energy onto your Darkrai, activate Nightmare Aura, and deal 20 damage every turn to your opponent's Pokemon. Leafeon in the active slot plus Darkrai is going to deal 90 damage. So that's pretty good, dealing 90 damage a turn because it's pretty quick and easy to set up. Then utilize Forest Breath, hopefully build up some extra energy on your Air Slash for Yanmega. And if you are, put Yanmega in that active slot. Let's say you have 5 energy on your Yanmega. You're going to have 2 turns before you're going to have to start equipping energy again, in which Yanma is going to be doing 120, and you can equip that dark energy on Darkrai, dealing an additional 20. So in total, you're dealing 140 damage. That's absolutely awesome, dealing all of that damage, especially as a late game sweeper. Leafeon, again, great early game. Yanmega, great to come in and clean up the rest of your opponent's Pokemon. I love this combination. This deck has consistently won for me. It's one of my favorite decks I've put together to date. But let me know in the comments section if you've utilized something similar, if you've utilized Leafeon and Darkrai together. What combinations are you utilizing? Do you utilize Yanmega, or is there another Pokemon that you put, or other support cards that you put in place of them? I'm interested to hear what y'all combinations have in terms of a Leafeon Darkrai. I absolutely love this. I hope y'all love this as well. Let me know in the comment section if you're going to check this deck build out after you've heard about it and seen me play on the screen with this deck. Let's talk anything Pokemon in the comments section. Is there a specific Pokemon that you want to see in a deck? Maybe it's your favorite Pokemon and you just can't find the right deck for them, or a Pokemon that you want to see in a deck and you need a good deck for them. Let me know and I will build a deck specifically for that Pokemon. Thank y'all for sticking around. Thank y'all for watching this video. Again, if you did enjoy it, feel free to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. It does really help out me and my channel. Thank you so much in advance for doing so. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Talk to you soon, and until next time, peace.